But what was also discussed and very clearly said by different member states is that any participation in the 9th of May parades or celebrations in Moscow will be not taken lightly on the European side, considering that Russia is really waging a full-scale war in Europe.
Are you tracking which countries or candidates countries intend to visit Moscow on 9th of May? And of course it will be a huge celebration in Moscow for Putin. Do you plan some visit to Kiev on the same day or the date near to 9th of May? Thank you.
Thank you. We made it very clear that we don't want any candidate country to participate in these events on the 9th of May in Moscow. So that was very clear. The message was there. When it comes to visits to Kiev, then of course, as I've called also all the member states, but also representatives of the institutions to visit Kiev and Ukraine as much as possible to show really our solidarity and that we are with Ukraine. So of course we are always looking for options to visit and go also together with deliverables to Ukraine. But we had many important topics that we discussed today. So first, of course, Ukraine. It is clear that all the member states want peace, and remember we had 27 countries who supported the ceasefire. Also, Ukraine agreed to unconditional ceasefire already a month ago. And yet we are seeing that Russia alone wants war, because we see the deadliest attack just yesterday, Sumy airstrike over the weekend, and it is clear that they are stalling and not wanting peace at all. So the only way to get Russia to negotiate seriously is putting some more pressure on Russia. Then second, the military aid to Ukraine. I mean, one is putting pressure on Russia, but then the other part is also helping Ukraine to defend itself. It is clear that we are the biggest provider of military aid. We are also the biggest provider or buyer from the Ukraine defense industry and the biggest supporter of the defense industry. And we are also, we have the mission of training Ukrainian soldiers, so over 73,000 soldiers we have already trained. So today we also discussed what more can we do when it comes to the missions. Should we expand the mandate of the missions that we have in order to also contribute to the security guarantees of coalition of the willing? Then when it comes to the initiative of delivering 2 million rounds of ammunition to Ukraine, then I'm happy to see that we have already reached 2/3 of that target. We still don't have 100%, but we definitely need to move forward with that. So a large majority of member states agree that we need to do more. I'm also happy to see Norway contributing with 4 million euro part, so it goes beyond European Union. And when it comes to the support for this year, then already this year member states, European Union, have contributed more than 23 billion euro to Ukraine, and last year it was 20 billion. Together with the help of United States, it's altogether 40 billion for last year, so we still have room to go. Then the third, putting the pressure on Russia. It is clear that we are working on the 17th package, also Shadow Fleet and different elements there to put it together for the Foreign Affairs Council in May. Then the second big topic is Middle East, and there, of course, we discussed the situation of Gaza. What all the member states agree is that we support the two-state solution, and we have also proposed 1.6 billion euros support for 3 years for Palestinian Authority, who should be the one providing also services to the Palestinians. When it comes to the overall situation, then it's very grave, and of course we really want the mediators to come back to the negotiation table and assume the ceasefire and release all hostages. The humanitarian aid we are giving to Gaza and Palestinians, it should not be politicized. What it means is that it has to reach the people that are in need. And Israel has the right to defend itself, but its current actions go beyond proportionate self-defense. We welcome the Arab plan for reconstruction of Gaza, but at the same time it lacks three important elements, which is funding, security and the governance of Gaza, but we are willing to work with our Arab partners, international partners, to develop on these topics. Then we had a very intense discussion on Syria, and whether to go on with the easing of the sanctions. And there it is clear that in order to reconstruct Syria, they need access to services. But it's also clear that we haven't seen many steps from the new leadership. So we agreed that we will evaluate the process so far, because we have done some lifting of the sanctions, but we will also work to propose next steps, of course, keeping in mind the conditionalities, the red lines that we will put, or the conditions that we really want to see. Then on Iran, we adopted sanctions for state-sponsored hostage-taking, so 9 individuals were sanctioned. And when it comes to the Iran nuclear talks in Oman, so these are a step in the right direction, because we don't want to see a nuclear weapon developed by Iran. Then we had a discussion on Africa, and there I thanked all those member states who have represented also European Union on their side on different events in different parts of Africa. What is clear that all the member states want more engagement with African countries, and not to lose them to any outside influence like Russia or China. We definitely have something to offer, and as we have the African Union and the European Union ministerial coming, it's the third of a kind. And then finally on Serbia and Kosovo, it is clear that the normalization of their relations is of utmost importance, and that's why the Belgrade-Pristina dialogue must continue. We have appointed a new special representative for Belgrade-Pristina dialogue, and I will also visit the countries later. Last Foreign Affairs Council, we had the deep discussion on Iran and how member states really want to proceed with Iran, and therefore one of the outcomes is actually the sanctions also we put today on Iran regarding the state-sponsored hostage-taking of European citizens as well. When it comes to the nuclear talks, then of course we are constantly talking with the 3 countries what the position could be, because the deadline of the snapback is really approaching us. But there we also need to discuss this with the United States, and we did so also at the G7 meeting, because it's important to have a really unified approach to this, because nobody wants to see Iran developing a nuclear weapon. So we are concentrating our efforts on that.
You mentioned this morning 2/3 of progress towards your ammunition initiative. Could you give us a sense of whether any meaningful progress has been achieved today, and by when you expect to hit the 100%? And also, if you could give us a sense of when these ammunitions would be delivered, because now we're talking pledges. Is there a sense of when they could actually arrive in Ukraine? Thank you.
Thank you. As soon as possible is the short answer, because they need it now. I mean, because these attacks are going through, there are civilian casualties in great numbers. Really, that's why they need the ammunition. That's why they also need the air defense. The calls by Ukraine to have more air defense have been really, really vocal as well. So that's why the short answer is as soon as possible. It is, I mean, of course, commitments, but commitments need to also be followed. So some member states have proposed already ammunition, and some the funding for ammunition. But actually, also the Czech initiative has mapped ammunition that is available, and also the External Action Service has done so. So we can move quite fast.
We have different words from U.S. where President Trump said that they made a mistake. So I was wondering which is the true and correct assessment of that.
I think it is in everybody's interest that Russia realized it made a mistake, but it made a mistake by attacking Ukraine. That it can't win in Ukraine, because the will of the Ukrainian people is not broken, and European countries will, and not only European countries, but many other countries will stand by Ukraine. So, and I hope that it's also clear to everybody now that if you want the killing to stop, you should put the pressure on Russia, who actually does the killing. On Western Balkans, I think we should always worry about the tensions rising, and that's why we need to keep the tensions down. I think the best way to really proceed is to have them all in the European Union. Then there are less tensions, because European Union is a peace project and works in calming the tensions between those countries.
Is there a new case now for sanctions on Russian LNG in the 17th package?
Thank you. Like I said, we are working on the 17th package. So, of course, putting the sanctions on oil and gas and putting more on that side would have a bigger effect, because this is how they are funding also their war. So the discussions are ongoing, but you know very well that we need 27 countries to agree. But my point is that we should put as strong package together as possible, hopefully also with our international partners.